Hello, Thyroid Thrivers, and welcome back to another episode of the Thyroid-Healthy Bites podcast, with bi-weekly episodes dedicated to helping you eat well, live well, and feel well. I'm Ginny Mahar, a functional medicine health coach, cordon bleu chef, and your thyroid health and cooking coach. So if you're ready to get inspired, informed, and empowered with thyroid-friendly food and lifestyle topics, expert interviews, and tales from the healing journey, you're in the right place, friend. Let's dig in. All right. Hello, Thyroid Thrivers, and welcome back to the show. If you've been listening to Thyroid Healthy Bites for a while, you know that we take a whole life, whole health approach to thyroid healthy living. Of course, we love to talk about thyroid-friendly foods and recipes, but thriving really requires that we look at all aspects of our health, including our physical health. And to ride that holistic wave further into this topic, we're going to go deep into the body today and talk about the nervous system. In fact, we're going to explore a specific nerve, the longest cranial nerve in our body, the vagus nerve. And I have a very special guest here with us to be our tour guide on this journey and to help us connect the dots between the vagus nerve, how we can improve our vagal tone, and how cortisol plays a role, especially for us as thyroid thrivers. Thanks to our guest, I have personally been able to experience the power of how putting just a little bit of love into our vagus nerve can have profound effects on our well-being. And I can't wait to share more about all of this with you. So without further ado, Sadie Nardini, welcome to the show. I'm so excited to meet you and have you here with us.
Thank you so much. It is an honor to be here.
Awesome. So it's kind of for a little backstory. I reached out to your team because I was doing one of your vagus nerve courses through Daily Ohm. I've been, a fan of them, have many of their courses, and you've been on my radar for many years because of that. And this vagus nerve course was so amazing. And my body was just like humming along doing these vagus nerve stretches and movements, and I was completely blown away by how good I felt. Like I was having this gush of creative energy and also just like energy. Like I felt like my chi just went through the roof. So I started chatting about this with my Thrivers Club community on our coaching calls, just, sharing my experience, teaching them a little bit about the vagus nerve, what it is, how we can improve our vagal tone. And there was so much interest. My members were like, please, can we learn more about this? And that's when I was like, I know exactly who I'm going to reach out to about this. And I contacted your team, and here we are. So super fun.
That's so awesome. I love that. I love knowing that the things I do when I come up with something and then I film it here in my apartment, put my heart and soul into it, actually reaches somebody, actually makes a difference. Like it's made a difference for me. That like makes my life. And it's the reason why I keep doing what I'm doing, is knowing that it's helping people.
Oh, very much. Oh my gosh. Your ripple effect is, I mean, it's not even a ripple effect. We're talking big waves. So we'll get into that a little bit more. But for the listeners today, yeah, we're going to talk all about the vagus nerve and some other aspects of that. And I think you'll come away with a really big picture understanding of how some of these kind of maybe these are like surprising things you maybe haven't been thinking about in terms of how can I really fine tune my wellness routine in incorporating some of this stuff. So we'll talk about how you can tone your vagus nerve, lower cortisol, and feel amazing. And Sadie, I'm also really excited to hear more about your current big project, which is your 21-day Face HIIT Miracle. So that's HIIT as in high intensity interval training for your face because you look amazing. And I can't wait to do this course. And we all need to know more about this. So I'm really excited to hear more about that today as well. So before digging into our conversation, though, I'd love to just tell the listeners a little bit more about you. Sadie Nardini is the powerhouse founder of the revolutionary Face HIIT facelift method, which is successfully lifting, sculpting, and toning the faces and necks of thousands of women around the globe. As a veteran wellness and anatomy expert, Sadie has been trailblazing in the wellness space for over 3 decades, on a mission to empower women mentally, physically, and emotionally. She's developed three globally recognized healing modalities, including core strength vinyasa yoga, yoga HIIT, and the somatic flexibility technique, all of which feature her signature blend of science and holistic health yoga, strength training, and the self confidence and authenticity inducing tagline, Rock Who You Are. She's reached millions by leading health and wellness sessions worldwide through one of the world's largest YouTube channels, nearly 1 million followers on Instagram, multiple books, and the Rock Your Yoga TV series. She's also been published in top media outlets such as the New York Times, Shape Magazine, Cosmopolitan, Yoga Journal, Daily Om, Random House, Women's Fitness, and Z Living TV, as well as her personal online platforms that have a broad reach worldwide. Wow, we're so lucky to have you here. You've done so much to educate and inspire people to truly just take the driver's seat of their health, especially their physical health. But it's like you do that from a unique, holistic perspective. And I'd love to maybe start there by hearing a little bit about your journey. How did you get started on this path, and what led you to where you are today in that unique style?
Well, wow, when you lay it all out like that, I sound really busy. Yeah, well, I got started because I wanted to find things that worked for me because early on in my life, when I was a teenager, a grown man jumped on my head in a swimming pool and impacted my spine and my spinal cord. My central nervous system shut down, and I was partially paralyzed for 2 years. Doctors could not figure out what was wrong with me because I didn't remember the accident. So they thought I had spinal meningitis. And they never took a neck X-ray, and they sent me home just like floppy and on the floor for 2 years. And I had to figure out, between me and my mom and no money and no resources and no internet, because I'm 53. This was back in the 80s. No internet at home to research stuff. I had to really figure out with her what I could do. And all we had was this little dusty yoga book from the 60s that had some breath work and some yoga and talked about the nervous system and how to put it right. And so my mom would like lay me on the ground and put my legs up the wall and help me into little seated positions or laying down positions. I wasn't doing anything that you would think of being yoga these days. I was more meditating and trying to master my breath more, or at least balance it. And from there, I got a little stronger. I healed up a bit. I went to the only yoga class I could find in town where I was in Seattle. I found one yoga class from one woman who'd studied with some people in India, and she brought it to Seattle, and it was brand new. Weird thing. Everyone was like, "What are you doing?" But it made me feel better. And I was getting stronger and stronger through that. And then she trained me to teach. I started teaching, and that began a whole journey of, if I could improve something doctors were telling me would probably leave me partially paralyzed for life. They said I would never run, certainly not exercise. Maybe I would walk again, but it was really up to fate because they couldn't figure out what was going on. So, and we didn't have the resources to keep finding out what was going on either. So we only had a couple meetings, and we just went home.
Wow.
And from there on, it was up to me and my mom. And together we rehabilitated me. And then I went on a tear, like, what else can help? How, because I don't feel very good still. I'm stronger, but things are really off in my central nervous system. And I studied and learned how much our nervous system impacts every other aspect of our being. And instead of taking care of physical fitness strength wise and from the outside in, because I was not capable of that at that time yet, I started working from what I call the light body outward, because our nervous system is nerves encasing energy. And if you took the nerves away and you kept the light, that's what we are. We're just this beautiful body of light in there. And if we could make that work better, then perhaps everything else would get the message. And that was really my key to infiltrate and co-create with the light body, which sounds really woo-woo, but we literally have one scientifically.
Oh
and
yeah.
clear the pathway, you know? And
Yeah.
one of my first nervous system explorations, besides breath work and how that changes things, and then meditation, how that changes things, was the vagus nerve.
Okay.
And so here we are talking about it right now.
Yeah. Oh my. I just need a minute to kind of digest that story, Sadie. That's incredible. That's incredible. And there was that moment too that I so recognized and could relate to where you're like, then I went on a tear because it's like once you get a taste for that kind of agency with your health, there's no turning back from that.
Yes. And you get stronger and more empowered in it. Like I can make changes, and I don't necessarily have to take every diagnosis as fact.
Right.
I can let it be a part of my learning process and information, but I do walk, I do exercise, I can run. I have I have no discernible after effects from that. And they were very sure that I had completely damaged my central nervous system.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah. The first x-ray I got, my neck was, my spine was like this. Like I'm from the front, my neck was over here, my neck spine. How
Oh,
it didn't get broken, I will never know.
yeah.
I believe it got hairline fracture, but it never actually broken. Uh, thank God, impacted my spinal cord to the point where I would not be able to recover from that, because I know there are people there out here listening to this that have some limitations, as we all do.
Yes.
But you're right, there's always something you can do about something to improve the situation.
Absolutely. And I'm just thinking like thyroid thrivers, are you listening to this? Like because and I mean different experiences, but also, parallels where so many of us are told, like, this is just your new normal. It's normal to feel tired all the time. It's normal to have brain fog. Your TSH is normal and you're on your thyroid medication. So that's that. And there's nothing else you can do. I mean, I was told that for 4 years while my health just went basically down the drain.
Yeah. Or it's
And
anxiety, or, oh, you're simply too stressed, which may be true, but it's not just that. It's a holistic reorientation of our entire flow from day to
yes,
day. And that's often what it takes.
yeah, yeah. And
I'm right now in the process of working with just an incredible fitness, wellness, scientific minded guy, and Tom something, I can't remember his last name right now. We just started working, but it's been fascinating because what I've got to do now, after I know all this, I know a lot of things. I don't know everything, but I know a lot of things. And I'm still realizing this morning before this call, oh, my circadian rhythms tell me I need to go to bed at 9. That's when I get tired.
mhm.
And I know if I wait longer than 9:30, I'm going to pop back awake again and I'll be up till midnight. And our hormones do not like us to go to bed late, even if we get 8 hours of sleep. They like us to go to bed after the sun goes down at some point, and
Right.
earlier the better. But for me, I'm going to bed at 9 now. I don't care. I'm reorienting everything. Then I'll get up at 6 instead of 8. And then I'll have 2 more hours to do the things I was trying to do at night.
Right.
And I'm eating 3 meals a day with 30 to 40 grams of protein and not snacking in between, so that I can go into a little bit of body cleansing instead of fasting for a long time. As a woman with hormonal challenges, being in perimenopause, it's not great for us to fast longer than 12 hours.
Or thyroid challenges come into play with
Okay.
that. Yeah, I mean, I'm part of the
Yeah.
endocrine system, of course, but yeah,
So if you want to get a
absolutely.
little autophagy, if you want to get a little fasting, cleansing in, you just eat 3 times a day and try not to snack in between, because after 3 hours, you'll be digesting, clearing out. And then after that, your body gets a little cleaning unless you snack. But if you have to for levels, that's fine. Just try to eat, snack something that your body is light on your body.
Mhm,
But the protein helping us with bone density and muscle mass that gets lost through cortisol, that gets lost through
mhm.
perimenopause and menopause and lack of movement,
Yeah,
and then having more stability. I mean, it's a whole situation. but you've got to just chip away at it. You can't tackle everything
Right.
at once. However, I'm always learning how I can improve because I don't like feeling crappy.
Hmm.
And it's really easy to feel crappy,
Yeah.
real easy from day to day, depending on your choices.
And the other thing I'm really hearing from you too is you have the dialogue. You have a very strong and healthy and open line of communication with your body. And that's such a huge piece of thriving, I think, is fostering that open line of communication, listening to the feedback our bodies are giving us, honoring that feedback, noticing how different inputs create different outcomes and connecting those dots. When I eat this, I feel this way. When I go to bed at 9 versus at midnight, the next day is like this for me versus like this, and just building that awareness and trust from that communication with ourselves is so foundational and huge. So I love hearing about that through your lens.
It is, and I think it's just a matter. It's the question, the only question that matters to me personally is feeling good less important than this choice right now, or is it more important? Because if it's more important, you're just not going to. It's not that crucial that I now go to bed at 12 every night because I'm getting stuff done.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Because I'm going to feel if I do that, it disrupts my natural rhythms. I'm going to feel every single morning like I just flew to Europe and I'm trying to function. It's jet lag. You're going to get jet lag. You'll be jet lagged all day. And
mm-hmm.
it takes a little bit to reset that, but that's going to be my step because it is not more important for me to stay up till midnight and look at stuff on YouTube and doom scroll
Right.
than it is for me to feel good,
Yeah.
you know?
Yes.
And that is the same with everything. Is my stress, as me stressing out about this thing that will eventually be resolved or eventually will change or eventually I will learn to cope with it or deal with it, is being stressed about this thing right now more important than feeling good, being balanced, looking and feeling the way that I think I should at my age? And me the best that I can
Mhm.
be at this age. Is this stress really worth it? Is this person really worth it? Is the situation, is this challenge really worth this ongoing
Mhm.
stress? And here's the thing, you're talking about the feedback from the body. We want to allow the feedback that helps us grow and allow the good feedback, right? We want to immerse in the good feedback and we want to grow that too, but we want to disrupt the negative feedback like from cortisol, overly stressing about something. You've got to have tools in place to disrupt that and cut it off when it's
Yeah.
happening. And
Yeah.
you can do it physiologically in just a few minutes or even 1 minute. I'm dying to teach you how to do it. I'm sure you
Let's
know
do
from
it.
my course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
You probably know, but maybe your viewers would like a couple of tools.
Yes, that would be wonderful. Let's do it.
Okay. So one of the best, and this is not mine, this is Dr. Huberman from Stanford, but this is a great breath technique. It's the physiological sigh.
Mhm.
This can make your central nervous system pretty instantly go from either being wired or tired to balanced. So you're calm, alert, but if you need to go to bed, it will help you sleep. And if you need to just calm down and focus, it will help you do that during the day. Just kind of takes wherever you're at and centers it, which is very cool. And what you need to do is you take a deep inhale through your nose to the top of your capacity, and then you try to sip in a little bit more, inhale, and then you blow that out pretty forcefully through your mouth, like, and get your abs involved, get your gut involved in that. And then you breathe normally and you wait a little bit so you're not making yourself dizzy. And you do it another time or two, so up to 3 times. And if you do that, you'll notice you pretty quickly after the breath be like, I'm feeling a little more centered.
Mhm.
Really simple breathing technique can get you there. Also, hearing your sigh helps your body relax. So if you're not sure, you don't remember that breath, you can just take a deep inhale through your nose or your mouth, hold it for a moment, and then exhale and hear that exhale. and
Yes.
drop your shoulders, pause a little bit, and do it 2 or 3 times. Breath is extremely powerful. It's a tool that we have that's free at our disposal, and just can really help us. And then when we talk about the vagus nerve a little more, I'll give you a little vagus massage you can do to stimulate it at home.
I'd love that. Yes. And I feel like we've laid such beautiful groundwork for this conversation. Like everybody's like relaxed and, in this zone and space with us. So maybe we could start just for the listeners who maybe aren't familiar with it. Can you start by just explaining like what the vagus nerve is? Why is it so essential for our health and well-being?
So the vagus nerve is, you said at the beginning, it's your longest cranial nerve, which means it comes out up here in your neck spine. It goes kind of around your ears, real close to the surface here, which is important for what we'll do later. Down the neck here into your chest. And then, really importantly, it continues down to your belly, your gut, your reproductive organs, and it governs so many things. Because it goes all the way down to the gut, we call it the gut brain axis, like the super highway of information between your gut and your brain. So what you're feeling, and you have so much ability to release serotonin or feel good chemicals in your, or neurotransmitters in your gut. Like 70% of your serotonin is released in your gut to make you feel calm, to battle cortisol spikes. You need your brain and your gut to be communicating. Otherwise, what your mind thinks is going to set off your gut, and you're not going to understand how to relax yourself and how to do it. If your vagus nerve is undertoned, if it's weak and quiet, you're not going to get that information through. So you're just going to go haywire. You'll go right into fight or flight. You won't seem to be able to control that. That's where panic attacks come from. That's where cortisol spikes come from. That's where just feelings of anxiety, that's where nausea, that's from anxiety and stress. That's where your body is just starting to miscommunicate with itself. So we want to clear the roadblocks off the superhighway and do what we call tone the vagus nerve, or wake it up a little bit. Not too much either. You don't want like an overactive vagus nerve. That's why it's really important. Whatever I show you, really just do it for a minute, a few 30 seconds. It
Okay.
doesn't take much, like hitting your elbow, you're going to wake up a nerve. So
That
more is not
makes sense.
better in this case. Yeah. So your vagus nerve helps to regulate. So, I mean, what doesn't it regulates almost everything that you care about. It regulates swallowing, it regulates vomiting, it regulates heart rate, blood pressure. It regulates breathing, regulates digestion, and how your feel good hormones and chemicals are released. It helps with overall balance, reproductive balance, and just a bunch of other things. And so it's really just a systematic regulator
Hmm.
for your body. And this, trying to exercise or deal with stress without having a healthy vagus nerve, a functioning vagus nerve, is, I don't know, it's like going to the gym to lift weights and then lifting invisible weight. It just doesn't do as much as you want it to do.
Yes.
So we're gonna put the weight back in your hand to give you some results. The vagus nerve, um, when it is toned, it helps you come into a feeling of calm focus, and that will help you at all times deal with your stress. And when cortisol goes up, thyroid function gets impacted,
Hmm.
gets
Yeah.
depressed. And so that's another key building block if you're dealing with thyroid issues or imbalance, to make sure that cortisol is not triggering you.
Hmm.
And part of how you can do that is the moment you start to feel stressed, take the breath, inhale, inhale, and exhale. And you can even think like blowing out any negativity or stress, blowing the problem farther away from you so you can get some perspective.
Hmm.
Realizing the Tom Petty lyric, most of what we worry about doesn't happen anyway. Is not going to happen. It's not going to happen that way. And even
Yeah.
if it does, you get through it and you're okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Regardless of how much we worry about it, it's gonna
Yeah.
Life is gonna life and do what it does. Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, Thyroid Thrivers, Ginny here. I just want to pop in with a real quick message. If you're listening to today's show and thinking, I want to get started with this, I want to feel better, I need support, and that is my missing piece, I've got good news for you. I have created the group health coaching membership for Thyroid Thrivers just like you. It's called the Thrivers Club, and you can learn more about it at hypothyroidchef.com/membership. When you become a Thrivers Club member, you get access to me, your personal on-demand health and cooking coach, a full recipe library of thyroid-friendly recipes, including gluten-free, dairy-free, paleo, and AIP recipes. You get access to an amazing, positive, healing-focused community of other thyroid thrivers who get it and who know what it's like to face the unique challenges that we face. You also get access to loads of expert resources created not just by me, but by other thyroid experts, doctors, nutritionists, all kinds of brilliant minds in the thyroid space. And one of the best parts about the Thrivers Club, and really where the results happen for people, is that you get access as a member to our monthly wellness challenges. And those wellness challenges just provide extra inspiration and motivation to make those small but mighty steps that get us where we want to be on our healing journey. Let's find out what happens when you have that support that you need. I'd love to welcome you to the Thrivers Club. If you'd like to learn more, you can go to hypothyroidchef.com/membership. So check out the Thrivers Club today. Okay, back to the show. Yeah.
And my mom died a year ago. I've had an epic amount of stress. I was her only caregiver, and she
So
lived with
sorry.
me. Thank you. She lived with me the whole time she was dying. It was anybody who has been a caretaker or has had to watch a close loved one go through that. It's the biggest stress I think there
Oh,
is.
huge.
Um,
Yes,
and at
absolutely.
the same time, my business was taking off like crazy, and I was having to handle all of that goodness with all of this horribleness. And then she passed, and then last December, and I had to deal with all the grief and navigating life without my mom and a very close parent to me.
Mm,
And I had to put my tools in place so hardcore because otherwise I wouldn't be here
yeah,
all refreshed and talking to you right now.
right.
But I am here to tell you, if you use these simple tools, you can get through you can get through anything.
Absolutely. Yes. And I'm so glad to weave in that piece, the emotional piece and also the cortisol piece from various types of stress. I mean, and something like grief, especially losing a parent, going through that whole transition, helping her through that transition is so profoundly, deeply, emotionally stressful and traumatic. There's no way around that. We got to feel that. But how do we support our bodies in handling that kind of load? And one thing I always talk about is like, think about your total stress load, and all the different sources where that's coming from. I did an episode of the podcast with Dr. Isabella Wentz on adrenal health, and we talked a lot about that because it's a huge, as you mentioned, it's a huge piece of the puzzle for thyroid patients because our thyroid and adrenals are so interconnected, like the thyroid in the gut, like all these, it's just this whole system, right? So thinking about it in that way of what are all these pieces? Where am I at? How can I support myself in the place where I'm at right now? Rather than just worrying about it, which doesn't help anything. Like, what can I actually do to give my body what it needs right now to get through this? So, thank you for sharing that example. And I think it just gives us so much context about how vagal tone can really be helpful for us. Thinking about that can be so helpful for us as thyroid thrivers, in terms of this is another thing we can do to help with our overall stress load, our cortisol balance, and all of that. So Um, where should we go from here? Should we talk about vagal tone and maybe some of those specific things we can do to support that?
Yes, that's great. I think it's really sitting down with yourself and taking a good hard look at your day-to-day schedule, your routine, and your way of dealing with things and the tools that you're putting in place. First of all, it's a whole thing, you know. When are you sleeping? How do you wake up? What are you eating first thing in the morning? Is it serving you? How are you dealing with stress? Are you handling it some way? Do you need help with that? Get the help with that. How's your diet? It's things, you know. But I think we can start Vegas vagal tone is easy. It's hard to say, but it's easy to do. So we can do that right now. Your vagus nerve being toned just sets a light body foundation for everything else to work better and a physical body foundation. To tone it up, you can do three main things, I think. First, breath, because breath itself, when you're inhaling, expanding, using your expanding the belly a little bit, and when you exhale and firm the belly, you are toning the vagal nerve, the lower portion of it. So belly work, abdominal exercise, sitting on a chair and lifting one knee up and then the other, if that's possible for you, or just sitting, inhale, let your belly expand a little bit, and exhale, squeeze your pelvic floor muscles like a Kegel and lift up and tone your low belly too. Inhale, expand it, exhale, lift in and up. Like you're trying to, if you had a flame in your belly, you're trying to pull it up behind the navel or up to touch the underside of your heart.
Mhm.
Inhale, exhale. That's a great way to easily vagal tone, and you can do that when you're lying down if you want to. Another way is to get the top of it, and that is so we've got breath, we've got movement, and we've got actual vagal massage, which we'll do a couple things now. Actually, I'm just resetting this in my head. Let's do a breath into a little upper body and abdominal movement that you can do sitting here. And then we'll do a vagal massage for both places. And I want to
Great.
see how you feel before and after.
Okay.
Okay. So let's just check in, take a moment and see how your body is feeling physically. Seek around what's going on. Energetically, how do you feel? Do you feel tired? Do you feel wired or somewhere in between? And then just take a moment here to take a deep breath in through your nose and lift your shoulders up. Move them back and down as you exhale and just hear that sigh out. And inhale, lift up towards your ears. So we're getting the vagal tone right now. Shoulders back and down, sigh it out. And one more. Inhale, roll your shoulders up. Breathe in through your nose or your mouth and exhale through your mouth. Relax and melt your shoulders down a little bit. Look over to one side and just drop your chin lightly toward that shoulder. Take a deep breath in through your nose and just lightly exhale and hear that sigh. And try to relax any tension you might be feeling there as best you can. And lift your chin up and move it to the other side, other shoulder. Deep breath in. Exhale, relax neck and shoulder muscles, let them melt. And then come back to center. So we're stretching out some neck muscles, releasing them off the vagus nerve, because if it's compressing, tight neck muscles compressing the vagus nerve, that's not allowing it to communicate very well. And then here back at center, I want you to take two peace sign fingers and place them in front of and behind each ear. This is kind of like peace sign your ears and start to massage little circles. So your ears are moving. You can get to the vagus nerve this way and also inside the base of your ear. You don't have to stick your finger in your ear very far. It's just right on the outside. Okay. And then take your fingers and like pull down here just at the notch above your earlobe and make circles one way and then the other. So funny.
This is amazing.
And then you can rub underneath your ears where your jaw meets your neck there. And then just start to lightly massage down your neck, avoiding the thyroid area.
Okay, good to know.
Okay. And then just circle above your collarbones here. This is also great for lymph drainage, which gets some fluid out of the way, gets some tissue out of the way, but it stimulates your vagus nerve here. All right, then place your hands on your knees here and just inhale and arch your spine forward. So just give yourself a nice little open chest, breathe into it, and exhale, sigh it out and round. So you're stretching the chest area front and back. Inhale, open up. You'll notice some of these are yoga moves. And this is part of the reason why yoga brings us to center because it is affecting the vagus nerve. And exhale out, round. So I'll do it from the side so you can see me. Inhale forward and up. And exhale, just round. Now stay in the rounded part and breathe into your shoulder blades back there. Stretch them out and exhale, sigh it out. Relax any tension you're holding in the back body. And inhale again into your shoulder blades, between your shoulder blades. That's most of your lung space back there. And exhale, sigh it out. And then gently come on to sit. And one more time, inhale, roll your shoulders up. And exhale, sigh it out and release them completely. And then take your fists, little light fist action here, and you'll place the fist into your low belly. So just into that juicy part. And start to massage in there just lightly, little circles like that. Try to take a deep breath into your belly more. So you just kind of breathe down in there into that flame. And on your exhale, squeeze up your pelvic floor, squeeze your low belly, press that breath out like a little fierce breath. And then inhale, breathe down, breathe underneath your hands, relax. And exhale, give it a squeeze, press it out. And one more time, inhale and exhale. You can release your hands down onto your legs. And then take one more big inhale through your nose. Exhale, sigh it out through your mouth. Relax, shoulder tension, neck tension. And then open your eyes and come back to the now. And let me know if you're feeling any different than you were before.
Oh my gosh, yes. So much. This is what I love about this work. And thank you. Now, all of you got a really yummy taste of what an amazing teacher Sadie is, like just off the cuff. Thank you so much for that.
You're welcome.
Yes. I mean, and even, I'm in this interview with you. Of course, I'm not in like a totally relaxed state. I'm kind of amped. I'm a little nervous. I'm excited. But I just feel so much more grounded now and that flow. I'll try to express, like my personal experience of this vagal toning work. It's like that energetic flow. I don't know if any of you listening have ever done like chakra balancing meditations, like those visualizations where afterwards you just feel like that whole circuit of energy in our body is just like zzz. It's this really healthy hum.
Yeah.
That's what I feel. Grounded, healthy humming, and I love how simple some of these things are. It doesn't take a lot, and very much, making note too of, as a health coach, and like how I can share with my community about this too, that more is not more, like with so many things. Less is often more, it sounds like, with this kind of thing. It doesn't take a lot to feel huge differences. And I really, as soon as I started this, it was part of we were doing a lot of focusing on our gut health, and my whole belly area just like relaxed. I think of like the Buddha, the Buddha belly, where you're just like relaxed and you have that flow, that energetic flow in your belly for digestion, for energy, for serotonin, like you talked about.
Yeah.
And it really brought a lot of the pieces together for me, like, oh, that's why I was really experiencing that in starting this work with you of just this, like, I feel happy. And of course, I'm going to have the more creative flow. My work got easier, it's just, I feel like I really came out of like I didn't realize kind of how locked down I was
Mhm.
because, I'm 48. I have an aging parent, like the perimenopause, Hashimoto, we all
Mhm.
have like our load, right?
Yeah.
And it just really felt like it opened things up for me. But I'd love to, I mean, that's my personal experience, but I'd love to hear from you about maybe some of the science behind that or just what you see as a teacher if someone has poor vagal tone, like how might that show up in their physical or emotional well-being?
Well, when you think about everything, well, first of all, that was beautiful. That was so just powerful to hear your experience. That's how I feel too, just doing this. I mean, I'm in the spotlight too, and we're new to each other, and you get a little nervous doing stuff like this. And I realized during this, I hold a lot of tension. And even when we're like, okay, inhale here and melt it out, how much are we unconsciously holding on to? The vagus nerve will cause some areas that are surrounding it, if they are tight, if you tone the vagus nerve, you'll become more aware of those areas. So neck, I mean, think most of the places we store tension,
Uh-huh.
neck, shoulders, chest, belly
Hmm.
area. It can help wake us up from that. It can also help stabilize blood pressure, really important for people. It helps stabilize breathing. It can help you become less anxious. A lot of times, well, the vagus nerve directly correlates to our fight or flight response or our calming response, depending on where it's at. So if we are working with it, even in a few minutes like that, to stay regulated and stay calm, you're going to rest better and sleep better. You'll digest better. You'll have less anxiety. You'll balance your hormonal system as much as you can from the nervous system. You will feel more alert when you need to be. You'll feel more tired when you need to be, and you'll just get back to your rhythms. And I think, and you can lessen headaches, swallowing issues, gastric, like reflux, things like that, all can be improved with vagal tone, they've shown. And just not letting your stress get the best of you, which is huge because we all know stress, cortisol especially, is inflammatory. It eats muscle, so that's called catabolic. You can be working out all you want, but if you're stressed out too, you are depleting your muscle mass, which we don't need as we age. We need to be building as much muscle. And muscle mass, proper muscle mass for women is directly correlated. Having enough muscle mass is correlated to having longevity and health. The less muscle mass you have statistically as you age, which you don't have to lose it, actually, that's a myth. You can build muscle into your 90s. If you deplete muscle mass, you have a way higher likelihood of getting diseases and dying early. And so one of the best things you can do is build muscle. And that's why we need stress to get out of the way too, so that we can actually function and feel strong in our lives as we age. So the vagal tone just has to do with a million things.
So many. Yes. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think it's really foundational. Like if you start any exercise program with a little vagal tone and then you end it with some vagal tone, you block yourself then from too much stress occurring during your workouts. Some is good. It helps train your central nervous system to deal with stress better, to do things like high intensity interval training. Short, intense bursts are really nice to train to make your stress receptors more resilient. So you do put yourself through stress, you do spike cortisol during a HIIT workout, but it's actually healthy. It's a healthy form of like stress receptor training rather than being stressed out about your bills and your life when it doesn't help you
Right.
solve anything. We know that, but you can't think yourself down from stress. You have to tone yourself from
Mhm.
stress. You have to do things that change your central nervous system back to balance.
And I love too that this is a different angle to come at that from. I think so many people hear self-care, stress management, and they're like, I don't like to meditate.
I don't either.
you don't have to just sit there and think about nothing in order to manage your stress. You can be more in your body. You can take a more somatic angle with this and do these like simple physical things that can really just help offload so much stress. I think too about the throat chakra. And in our community, we talk about, the blockage that, you talked about the light body, that energetic blockage in this area is so common for so many of us where we feel like we don't have a voice, or we can't speak our truth.
Yeah.
And just opening, of course, you
Yeah.
didn't like necessarily mention that when we're going through all that, but I could feel that opening in that area of the body, not just in the muscles and ligaments, but energetically as well. And then the the solar plexus chakra, the belly chakra too, that
Yeah.
area, that whole another very foundational energy center for our self-confidence, our self-worth. Like we got to start this wellness journey with the belief that we're worthy of this kind of impeccable, loving, compassionate care.
Yeah.
So that I love like, all the so many things are just like lighting up, that
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I detest meditating. I haven't sat and meditated in 25 years. But we just did a meditation. We were in present moment meditation on things, feeling in for about 3 to 4 minutes together.
hmm
And it changed things. At night before I go to bed, I often put in a binaural beats. So the binaural beats to change your brain waves to deep relaxation. And I listen to a pre-sleep meditation, just helping me relax into sleep and change my brain waves from the fritzing of the day. That's a meditation. Doing dancing around to your favorite song is a meditation. Moving consciously is a meditation. Walking and remembering, oh, I want to be here now. Oh, look at the flowers over there. Oh, feel my feet on the ground, the breeze on my face. That tree is really pretty. That's a meditation. So you don't necessarily have to just sit still and close your eyes and do the thing you hate. I mean, you might find you like it if you do it for a while too, but you don't have to do that. You can get present and mindful and change your central nervous system in so many different ways.
Oh yeah. I mean, I still feel it in my body, just like that hum just feels so good. I'm I'm dying to talk about your 21-day face hit miracle because I of course started learning from you about the vagus nerve, but now all these other connections and possibilities are opening up in my mind, and I'm just about to start the 21-day face hit miracle. Like I need this. I'm ready.
Oh my gosh.
So, can I'm curious, can the facial toning methods and neck stretches and other things that you teach in the 21-day face hit miracle also help with vagal tone?
Yes, absolutely. Well, think about where the vagus nerve is, where it comes from.
Right.
And where it originates is all around the ears into the face, the neck, and the chest. And that's what we're working. In addition, facial exercises, especially the ones that cause you to smile, which is probably 50% of my program, is shown to combat cortisol and release dopamine, serotonin, and endorphins scientifically. And
Oh,
we
wow.
know even if you pretend to smile, you could be having the worst day and you do a 4 minute face hit smiling exercise, facelift to lift to build back volume, to lift up fat pads in the eyes that are sagging, to tone the jaw, to lift, to open up the marionette lines, and all that stuff that it does, which is great. It's also helping the vagus nerve work. I mean, we're literally toning it with our hands with the block here. So we're blocking wrinkles while we do it. So we don't deepen wrinkles while we're building volume and shaping. This will tone the vagus nerve. Plus, I do a lot of neck, swallow area, double chin lifter exercises, and platysma releasers, which flow right over the vagus nerve area. And they're so tight in people. That's where we get the ropey neck.
Mm-hmm.
And the hanging neck is
Yeah.
tight forward motion, platysma. The vagus nerve can't function as well when it's tight and compressed. So in doing these somatic releases, because I'm never pulling the skin, we do skin safe trigger point release to really release tight areas causing wrinkles, but also we relax and release out the neck all over thyroid area. So we release the front center platysma here. We release the side over the vagus nerve into the collarbones, which also vagal nerve area. And we free ourselves to be open, lifted, and full range of motion all over the face and neck. And then you are going to avoid the injections and surgeries and all that stuff. Because I used to have a really ropey neck, really hangy, really big jowls. Not anymore. I'm
Your
53.
before and after pictures are amazing. I mean, and I bet you've seen some really incredible transformations with this. I
Yeah.
know, yeah, on your social media, there's some like just jaw-dropping before and after photos, and it looks so natural too. That's what, really appeals to me about it. But also, as thyroid patients, there is always that thought, I think, in the back of so many of our minds of what am I going to be putting my body through to, say, get plastic surgery, to get Botox or something like that. I mean, even I just had like a minor medical procedure. It took me a week to recover from the anesthesia. Our
Yes.
systems don't, we're a sensitive population,
Yes. Yes.
and so it worries me to think about like having something like that done. I mean, nothing against people who choose to go that route, but it is like so nice to know that there's other options that don't require anything but just, a little bit of time and effort.
Yes. It's 4 minutes. Four
Yeah.
minutes a day, not even every day, to completely rejuvenate everything. And here's the thing, Botox, I used to get Botox, and then I just stopped because I didn't like what I was putting in, but I got Botox for 10 years. And what happens after you get Botox, so your muscles are very relaxed. You're certainly not building them. You're not strengthening them, and you're not strengthening, therefore, the fat pad ligaments or anything inside the face that needs to be lifted. You're just relaxing muscles to relax some wrinkles, which we can do on our own with a simple myofascial release ball or our fingertips, but in a couple minutes, and avoid all that stuff. But Botox doesn't build back the muscle, so you've got to work out. It's like if I wanted my glutes back here to firm and lift for good posture and just aesthetics. I want some glutes. I would not just get Botox in them and relax them, obviously. You need to work the muscle out to build it, right? And I wouldn't cut it off or and go get surgery and just like pull it over here because it's just gonna keep atrophying. Even though you've shorted up a little bit, I have less muscle mass now because I'm not working out my face properly. And Botox doesn't give you muscle mass, it just relaxes. So every time the Botox wears off, you're actually wrinkling and sagging worse. You can get Botox all you want. It's fine with me. I don't anymore, but I don't mind it. Just work out your face and neck like you do below the neck and also release tight muscles that tend to be overactive that are causing dysfunction and sagging.
Hmm.
So when you release out the platysma pulling down causes jowls. It hangs and it builds fluid here. So we're looking jowly and double chinny, and it causes those ropes and stuff. But then you're getting the vagus nerve too. So if you want to do something cool for your face and neck, plus tone your vagus nerve, 4 minutes a day for 21 days, and then you see where you're at. Isn't
Yeah.
bad.
You've
But I
got so
wanted to,
many bases covered, just boom, boom, boom. I mean, why not? I love
well,
marketing.
you saw my face in my 40s. It was not going anywhere good. It was going south, all south. And I needed something to do it in face yoga. Well, I mean, I was trained in yoga and fitness, and I just realized right away most of our face and neck muscles are fast twitch, which means we can't move slow for longer. It won't work them out. We have to move fast and intensely in shorter amounts of time. So HIIT is the only thing that's going to really make a difference in your face, but I didn't see anyone teaching it or teaching it correctly, so I had to jump in
Yeah,
for
that seems like
myself.
an important distinction. Like this is not face yoga. I
No.
kind of thought, well, maybe this is like face yoga. No, it's this
Mhm.
is this is high intensity interval training for your
Yeah.
face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you don't have to move as fast as humanly possible. It's just when you move, um, you have to be explosive about it,
Uh-huh.
or you're not training 60 to 100% of your facial muscles.
Right.
So if anyone's tried face yoga or the massages out there and you're like, it's not really working, that's why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and one question I guess that comes up for this specific audience is like we're often, strength training is so highly recommended for us
Mhm, mhm.
because some of us can be kind of exercise intolerant,
Yes.
especially to like excessive cardio, long duration cardio, overdoing it even on high intensity interval training. But I'm feeling like this is different than that.
It's a loving form of high intensity interval training that you really can moderate, like how fast you're going or whatever. I personally am the exact same way. I'm exercise intolerant. I cannot exercise for more than 15, 20 minutes. And I've been doing it for a lifetime. If I exercise longer than that, I get dizzy. I feel horrible. I get extreme inflammation. I'll get cramps, like uterine cramps. All sorts of
Mhm.
fun stuff happens.
Oh yeah.
And I just don't do it. So I have had to figure out how do I get my weight training in and my cardio in a way that is gentler for me, that will work. So I have 3 or 4 Tabata times. So 20 seconds action, 10 seconds rest for 8 rounds. I have 3 or 4 of those I do every other day. And I alternate, I take breaks in between, like I'll be working and then 20 minutes or so, I'll get up, I'll do one, I'll go back. I get up, I do another one at some point, and that just does nothing but goodness to my body.
Mm.
But it does get so moving a little bit quicker. I would say, like, I've worked up to 10 pounds. I'm pretty proud of myself. These are heavy for me. And I just did my 3 workouts earlier this morning, so I have no arm strength, but um, just standing in like a temple pose and doing this and releasing and this and releasing a little bit like quicker on the movement and then down is great. I do it at home and it's easy. And then I just stretch and do some like yoga, flowy movements to stretch out, do my breath a little bit and calm down. So there's a way that you can do it that will stay within your harmony boundaries, but still really strengthen you up. And I think this is one of the most important things any woman can do
Hmm.
over the age of 40. I mean, anytime, but over the age of 40, most specifically,
Strength training.
yeah, working up to a
Yeah.
little heavier weight. So those little bursts of Tabata timing really help me. I time it on the computer. There's free Tabata timers, and it's like 20 seconds, go, 10
Yeah.
seconds rest. And it works better than working out for an hour,
Wow.
strength training for an hour. It works the same or better when you do it a little bit more intensely for way less
Yeah.
time.
All right. Thank you so much for your input on that. And
Sure.
and I think too, and I love what you said about the you can improve your cortisol tone
Mhm,
as well with some of these things that we can kind of increase our resilience that way.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have stress receptors that when they are weak, you're not going to deal with your stress very well and it will throw your system out of whack real fast and you'll feel like you feel. So, high intensity interval training specifically because it is intense in the moment, like you kind of just try to go, go, go with the heavier weights for 20 seconds. It's only a 4 minute round. So, but it's only 20 seconds at a time. And then you can rest for a 10. So it's nice.
Uh-huh.
That specifically is shown to strengthen your stress receptors. So while you're working out like that, you're also working out your ability to deal with stress.
I love that. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Sadie, thank you so much. I have learned a ton. I know the listeners have too. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This has been so amazing. Wow, how fun to meet you and learn from you and get to do some of this stuff with you, face to face. For any of you listening, in case you did such a good job, Sadie, of like giving us the prompts for the movements, just audio. But for any of you listening, you can also check out our interview on my YouTube channel at Hypothyroid Chef, where you can, see more of what Sadie's doing if that's helpful to you. But gosh, yes, thank you so, so much. This has been just incredible.
You're so welcome. I loved being here. I love this conversation, and I'm really thankful to you for having me on, for doing this at all and helping spread this message of wellness for your thyroid thrivers and women and people everywhere who just want to come to balance.
Oh, thank you. Well, one of my favorite things about what I do is all the incredible people I get to meet and all these fascinating conversations I get to have and learning all these things, getting empowered, and then sharing that with my community. It's just awesome and it's just so wonderful and all the warm fuzzies to be able to be part of this, greater community. So I really appreciate that. I'd love it if you could maybe tell the listeners what's the best way to connect with you and learn more about your work before we sign off today.
Yeah, well, all of the courses that I've made from, I think it's called the Belly Bloat Rescue. That's the vagus nerve one. I went there with it, but it's really a full vagus nerve thing. You can, and the face workout courses and somatic flexibility and just tons of stuff I've got. That's yogaforlifeonline.com. So it's pretty easy. And then on Instagram is my main area. So I'm on Instagram, Sadie Nardini Official. If you want to get some freebies and learn some stuff and see what you
Yes, your
think.
Instagram is amazing. I highly recommend everyone follows that and goes and checks out your website. I'll be sure and put all these links in the show notes, including one to your 21-day face hit miracle. I know I'm going to be starting that, so I'm super excited about that. So
Yes.
I'll send you my before and after pictures.
Please do. I would love that. Absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you so again, Sadie, and take care. And on behalf of myself and the listeners, we just so appreciate you sharing your expertise and wisdom with us today.
Oh, thanks. It was my pleasure.
Thanks so much for spending this time with me and tuning into today's episode of the Thyroid Healthy Bites podcast. If you've enjoyed today's show, please don't forget to like, subscribe, or leave a review on your podcast platform of choice. Your support makes this show possible. For more thyroid healthy food and lifestyle inspiration, check out my free library of thyroid-friendly recipes and lifestyle content at hypothyroidchef.com and the Hypothyroid Chef YouTube channel. As we wrap it up, head to the show notes for information and links to everything we talked about today, along with the link to my free thyroid-friendly grocery guide download. I'm Ginny Mahar, your thyroid health and cooking coach, wishing you happy cooking, happy thriving, and the best of health. See you next time.